1% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in they Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move. Whatever click you choose.
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down. Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Yeah, that's me gassing on that intro. And if you want to get that song, hit me up on my email, 16tolifemusic@gmail.com, and I'll give you the information on how to get it. And so in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to a video I happened to run across on a channel called Normalized Crime. And you have this individual who was doing time, and I believe he was an NLR, and he describes when he was in the hole and how he ended up stabbing a Crip. So let's get right into the video.
But I got divots missing in my body just from that wooden gun. Just that's Corbin true shit. Hey, but anyways, so I'm in that hole there, and then let me tell you about the 12 years. That's like my first cellie there. I had to deal with that. And there's like some high leverage anxiety and fear.
Oh, so this is after you got the 12 years?
No, this is before. Let me tell you about 12 years. I caught 12 years in that hole.
Oh, okay.
In the Ad-Seg right there, like a couple months later.
Okay.
So I go to yard. I put it this way, I stabbed at least 8 or 9 people in that fucking unit.
So he just said he stabbed 8 or 9 people in that unit. So it seems like the dude was putting in a lot of work. And, you know, sometimes this is the case when individuals, you know, they go to prison, period. They feel that, you know, they're going to do what they need to do to stay relevant to whoever they're representing. You know, they're going to worry about getting home when they get home. So let's get back into it.
All right. On the yard and in the cell. And, but one of the most notorious ones was this dude is named, I won't say where he's from, but he's from Watts. He's a Crip. All right. And, he would come by my cell and disrespect us. All right. And I had a cellie in there from Long Beach. And we were by the yard exit, and they line people up. You're in handcuffs. And before they put you through the butt naked coffin squat routine to go out to the yard and the metal detector, they line guys up. If they're cellies, we'll do one at a time. Our door's right there. And it's perforated aluminum, some tempered aluminum, with sheet metal or with sheets of clear plastic over it, like plexiglass. All right, so you can't slip. This fool used to talk shit to us. He was bumping his gums, you know, fucking disrespected.
But you guys can't get to him.
Can't get to him. He was tear talking. That's what we call it. And we can't respond either, because we don't do that. It's a standing order. Don't act like that. You know what I'm saying? You're not a fucking animal. You know.
So what he's describing. When I started the story where the video started, but it seemed like they were already in the beginning of a conversation. So he's talking about he's already in the hole. And as he's going to the hole, there's a Crip who is in the cell close to, I guess, one of the doors where they take them when they go to the exercise yard. And I guess this Crip is talking shit to him. You know, he doesn't necessarily say why. Maybe the Crip is just knows that this dude is in LR, and maybe he has a problem with that. Who knows, you know, but basically talking stuff behind the glass is called like a cell soul, or excuse me, behind the door when you can't get to another individual. It's a very frowned upon activity, because nobody can get to nobody. So it's a waste of time. It reminds me of a time that I was in Ironwood in the hole with my celly was Chances. And we had our next door neighbor was a white dude. And he yelled some disrespectful stuff over the tier. And the next day he was trying to fish, which was send some information to somebody. And his fishing line got stuck in our cell and he needed our help. And so we ignored him for a long time. Then finally, Chances jumped up off the bunk and told him, hey man, you know, you're not going to get any help from us because you was disrespecting our people over the tier yesterday. Then after that, then when he would do burpees and he would do his workout routine, he would, be yelling, 88. He'd get to 88 and yell 88 for the hate. 88 is a number that represents a white organization. And so it has a lot of, racial connotations to it. And so he would do these things to try to annoy us, right? But we never responded, because yelling back and forth with an individual you can't get to is pointless.
You do your violence when you're outside of that gate, outside of that shit. It reflects on you and everybody else if you're fucking running your mouth on a tier when you can't get it nobody.
Right.
It's bullshit.
Don't be a cell warrior.
Exactly. Don't be it's a standing order. You don't do that. It's good policy though.
Yeah.
Keep the noise down.
It is.
Yeah. If you don't engage, it kind of dies out.
Right.
But so I'm noting this guy. Well, a couple months later, I'm in that fucking that shoe. I'm in that unit, in that lockdown unit for months. I'd say like 10 months. So I got cases pending. I'm waiting to go to the shoe up Pelican Bay. And so he gets out of the hole eventually and comes back for he got in a war, and him and some other guy had stabbed some white guys on a yard out there. And it was a friend of mine. Alright? And now this guy he's back there during this big war in White's back. He's the shot caller for the Crip back there. And they're like, listen, that's so and so. Everybody knows who he is. If you can get him. Somehow they pop the door and exit, whatever. Get him. Well, me and my
So for those who don't know, when you're in the hole or the shoe, which is basically just a regular building, like a normal building in general population, except you just don't have certain amenities. You don't have your TV, you don't have your hot pot, your radio. You're not allowed to go to the store and spend the amount that you would when you're on the main line or in general population. When you do get your, the items that they do allow you to have, and then the items that they do allow you to have is modified. And when they do bring you those, if you order some chips, they're going to take the chips out the original bag, open it in front of you and put it in a plastic bag, squeeze all your toothpaste out in the plastic bags and stuff like that. So this is what the hole is like. And the main thing, anytime you leave the hole, anytime you even leave your cell, whether you're going on a doctor's visit, you're going down to talk to the counselor, you're going down to have your hearing adjudicated, you're going to the exercise yard, anytime before you leave that cell, you must place your hands. They got a little food slot. You place your hands out the back of that food slot, and you have to get handcuffed. And even if your celly's not going, he still has to get handcuffed. Both individuals have to be handcuffed before they come out the cell. Anytime there's any movement outside of that cell in the hole or the shoe, the individual who's being moved or escorted is always handcuffed.
Somehow they pop the door and exit, whatever. Get him. Well, me and my celly were deep.
And let me just stop and go back a little bit, just because I may have interrupted you guys, and so you can keep up with the story. So he's talking about, I guess, the being in the hole. The white dudes basically has identified who this dude is, who he says is being a cell soldier, and has come back to the shoe for stabbing some white dudes on the yard. And so basically they're telling all the white dudes, if you ever have a chance to get this dude, get him.
So and so, everybody knows who he is. If you can get him. Somehow they pop the door and exit, whatever. Get him. Well, me and my celly, we're devious like we were, we figured out a way to pop the central shower. In that, like when they lock you in the shower, we figure out we can pop it with our knives. It wasn't secure. And I tried it. Now when you pop it, there's a gunner right there, of course. And the red light pops on this little board because everything's electric. It's controlled by the gunner with the Mini 14 strapped to his. He's got an HK9 strapped to his chest. and he does all the buttons that open cells and everything. But no cells open unless someone's in cuff behind it. You know, they cuff you and then they open. So we figured it out, and I tell one of the shot caller in the unit, "Hey, I think we can get this dude." And I run it down to him. He's like, "Oh, are you fucking serious?" Yeah. So this is what we do. We plan it. This guy goes to the law library, like on Thursday. Let's say I can't remember which day it is, but every day, like every other week, our shower time falls on during his law library. So if we get in the shower and he's in the law library, which is on the other side of the unit, in a little stand-up cage, where he's doing law, it's a legal right. You have access to courts. You have open cases. You can study the books. All right. And so it took us about a month, and finally we figured it out. We stayed in the shower long enough until he was escorted out to his cell. And so me and my cellie literally popped the Ad-Seg shower with our knives, came out butt naked with just socks on. Booked that motherfucker.
Now, when he says he booked him, that's that's another terminology in prison that you'll have some individuals use for stabbing.
Shower with our knives, came out butt naked with just socks on. Booked that motherfucker.
Damn.
Booked him.
Now that's crazy right there, man. I just had to interrupt real quick. Imagine being stabbed while you're being escorted. You're handcuffed. You're handcuffed behind your back, so you can't even protect yourself. And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, you got two naked dudes. You know what I'm saying? Body parts flapping, flying everywhere, stabbing you. Cold piece of work.
The Ad-Seg shower with our knives, came out butt naked with just socks on. Booked that motherfucker.
Damn.
Booked him, and I caught a staff assault because it was a staff. He was a cool ass CO, and he was bringing me tobacco and all. I didn't want to do it. He was escorting. He tried to like baton me, so I dropped the knife and I touched him up. I hit him in the face. I had to, bro.
Right.
And then finally I just got down, slid the knife under a cell, you know. And so this dude's screaming. He's in cuffs. We got him, you know.
Right.
He lived. He's screaming. He's in cuffs and shit. And I go to court for that. They dropped the staff assault because the CO gets on the stand and goes, he slid into me. Although he did right that I hit him with my fist. And they dropped it right then and there, preliminary hearing. And so I get hit for that. Smurf gets life. I get 12 years because it's my second strike. You know. Another thing. They used to not pick up cases, but they just passed 3 strikes law.
Oh.
It's like literally it's brand new. All right. Smurf gets struck out. Smurf takes the deal for life. I get 12 years because he took that deal. All right. So he basically struck himself out. He was doing life already.
Right.
And Smurf ended up on death row for a murder he got in prison later on. He's there now, I believe. So.
And he was NLR?
Yes. And so I got 12 years for that case right there. This guy took a deal 6 times 2 for second strike, 12 years. Now I got 19 years. All right. But,
yeah, that definitely was a cold situation, man. So he said it was just after the 3 strikes law was passed, so that was somewhere around at least after 1994. It would be interesting to find out exactly where this story happened at, right? Not that I don't believe him, because I believe him 100%. I mean, it happens, right? You have different individuals, different races, different people in prison at different times. Their sides will take, they will get the short end of the stick, right? And so I would just like to hear more about the whole entire situation, because he said the Crip was already in the hole, then he got kicked out, then he came back for being in a riot, I'm assuming against the whites, or at least he came back for stabbing some white dudes, is what this guy here said. So, right, it would be just interesting to hear the whole story. This dude's demeanor, the way he tells the story, in my opinion, he's 100% believable. Things like that happen. And then, in my mind, another cold situation, he talked about the dude was being escorted by a guard who just so happened to be particularly cool and looked out, right? And so that's a cold situation sometimes too, because all the guards in there aren't assholes. some of the guards in there, I would actually term they were cool. You know, some of those dudes we used to apply the term to, they just want to do their 8 and skate, which is mean they want to come in, get the 8 hours in, and be out of there. As long as you don't cause them no problems, they won't cause you no problems. And then a lot of the guards understand that certain things go on in prison. They aren't working at a daycare. And so they understand, man, certain things are just what's going to happen in prison. And so initially, while the guard wrote the dude up, later on, and if the guard had have stuck with what he wrote, like, yeah, this dude hit me, he assaulted me, so on and so forth, he would have more than likely got some more time with that. But it seemed like the guard had an understanding of what was going on. The guard and he and the guard had a rapport, he says, because the guard used to bring him stuff, right? So, I mean, in this dude's thinking, when he was seeing this dude escorted by a guard that was cool, he probably was like, well, damn, man, I hate to do it, but this is my time. And basically, this is my time to get this dude. And, you know, I have to do what I have to do, man. And so, you know, he went ahead and, you know, got on the mission and stabbed the dude, you know, and the guard got caught up in all that stuff. But eventually, I guess, you know, like I said, the guard wasn't tripping later on when it was time for him to get his case heard about that assault. And he ended up catching 12 more years. And I think he said he had a total of 19. And then the dude who he went on the mission with, as he said, eventually later on got the death penalty. So, yeah, that's definitely a cold situation, man, a cold story. The name of this channel was called Normalized Crime. I scanned through the channel. They don't have a whole lot of videos up, and I believe this is the only one they have kind of pertaining to prison, or at least a story somewhat like this, right? So anyway, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.